Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's pep talk, which is usually a Monday morning pep talk, but this is going to be posted on Tuesday evening because of a series of unfortunate events that I won't go into, but I'm back on track now and coming at you with some words of encouragement that will hopefully help you through the coming week. This week I've been thinking about what does success look like and what does progress look like. And I think for many of us, it seems like life should always move in an upward trajectory. We talk about climbing a ladder of success. And I think this idea is deeply embedded in us as children because each year we get a year older, we have another birthday, we advance one grade in school. Our lives seem to be predictable and moving in an upward and onward fashion. Each year we expect to advance to the next grade. And if you're like me, when I was in high school, the next step was college. So it was when I graduated from college was the first time I had to face a future that wasn't necessarily mapped out, and it was very unsettling and very nerve-wracking to think that now I have to make choices that could take me in different directions. And when we get an entry-level job, um, many of us think that's our first step on the ladder, and we're going to climb and climb and climb. We're going to keep getting our boss's job, or we're going to master the industry to a point where we can open our own business someday. But we expect to always be moving upward, like earning more money every year, or every time we move to move into a bigger or more expensive home and things like that. And I have found out over time that life doesn't work that way. And it's okay because those lateral moves and those steps backward have really enriched me in ways that have helped me to ultimately move forward. And I wanted to share with you some of the experiences I've had that could be considered missteps from a certain point of view, but in the long run, they didn't end up being missteps. I've had two long-term careers in my adult life. One was in banking and one is as a college professor, which seemed very different and did require a big change. So when I went off to college, my intention was to major in psychology because I was interested in how people interact with one another. And I ended up in communication, which again is the study of how people interact with one another, so that's a good thing. Ironically, I ended up in banking. After I graduated from college, I got a job at a bank and I advanced there. I eventually got an MBA. I became an officer of the bank. I started teaching as an adjunct professor at a university, and that's what got me into the academic side of things. So here I had a bachelor's degree in communication. I picked up an associate's in business along the way because I took some accounting classes, and then got an MBA and had a banking career. So that's where I was in life. I was on that path. But it wasn't what I wanted to do. It didn't make me happy. And when I started teaching, I discovered something that I really loved to do and wanted to do full time. But to truly do it full time in the manner that I wanted to, I was going to need to get a graduate degree in a different field. An MBA is considered a terminal degree in business, and I didn't really want to teach business. I was interested in teaching communication, so I decided I wanted to get a PhD in communication, which involved quitting my job, moving to another state, taking on a doctoral program, and completely changing my life mid-career. And it was tough, but as you can see by the diagram here, it was one of those squiggly places in the middle where I deliberately made different choices that some might have seen as setting me back. Some people saw it as being frivolous or getting rid of my banking career for no reason. And I did take a big cut in income for a few years there, but now I am doing better mentally, spiritually, physically, financially, in every way than I was at the time I quit my other job. So I'm in a place that makes a lot more sense for me. And sometimes in order to do that, we have to make a shift in our lives, make a calculated shift, make a hopefully well-considered shift. I've had a lot of other jobs along the way, as I'm sure many people have. I've worked as a waitress, I've worked as a fast food manager, I've worked in retail, I managed a Pure One Imports store at one time. I managed restaurants. I did a lot of different things, mostly in that kind of management area. But teaching is where I belong, and it's what I love to do. And I had to take a few steps off the path that I was on in order to get here. I don't want to say I had to take a few steps backward, because to me they weren't steps backward. Maybe they were steps sideways. But you get to keep the wisdom that you accumulate along the way. I think it's good for our mental health to disconnect from this idea that life is always a perfect, upward trajectory, like we're riding an escalator to the top of whatever field or career or life path we're on, because life unfolds. It unfolds every day. It has brought me many surprises along the way, many unexpected changes, and it's through coping with those unexpected changes that we discover our own strength and our own resiliency. So I truly believe that no experience is ever wasted, and I truly believe that if that upward trajectory that you think you're on seems to take a turn or move sideways instead of upward, that's a good time to reflect on what is your next step going to be, and the fact that you don't have to stay on the ladder you're on. You can jump over to a different one. It might require a lateral move. It might require learning new things. It might require retraining. It might require some reorganization of your life, but it's always possible. So I want to wish you a great week ahead, and I hope you will ponder this idea that success does not look like the arrow on the left. It looks more like the squiggly arrow on the right, but the squiggly arrow is a much more enriching experience. Take good care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.